All right, so I'm going to start with some really hard questions. I'd love to know your name, what you do normally, and then your role here at the event. I know you're very special, but we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
All right, so my name is Lisa Culbert.
I saw you sing last night, so I know you can.
Oh, mine, I don't know how. Give me a regular microphone, I'm all about it. But okay, so it needs to be up here or closer, like here?
That's good.
Okay. My name is Lisa Culbert, and I am a contractor for AZ Water Association. I'm dedicated to helping them organize their annual conference. I work for a couple other organizations, one of them being Water Reuse Arizona. Also help them with the things that they're doing within the state of Arizona. And for Tri-State, I'm actually a volunteer on behalf of AZ Water. So I'm what they call a board of manager, one of the 5 from Arizona. And last year and this year, I had the pleasure of being the chair of Tri-State. So I lead the organization through things that they're trying to get done, some of the initiatives that they're trying to push forward, led them through some strategic planning, some strategic thinking about what does the future look like for this organization. Probably the two biggest ones are whether or not we should stay at South Point after our contract is over, whether it makes sense for us to move to a larger facility, which would accommodate greater numbers. However, we're not really certain that we want that. We don't want to be a WEFTEC. We don't want to be in PACE. We like the community that's been built over the years at Tri-State, and we're not sure that moving to a bigger facility is really the best move to maintain that sense of community that we feel right now.
Okay, so it would be a different experience, but it might not be better.
Might not be better. So we have an ad hoc committee taking a look at different proposals at other venues and really looking at things, because if we move from South Point, we're looking at much greater expenses, which is going to, of course, trickle down to everybody that attends. And we may lose the magic of Tri-State. What we experience right now, we might lose it by moving to a bigger facility. So we're exploring what the options are, and as a board, make some decisions on where that future lies. We're obviously landlocked right now with exhibit booths. We've become the Taylor Swift ticket sales phenomenon for exhibit booth sales, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I heard this from multiple people that they need to register to be an exhibitor the day it opens. And if they don't hit that.
No, it's sold out within minutes.
That's awesome.
It's pretty crazy. So, yeah.
That's good. So you said volunteer, but really you're stretching the limits of volunteer, super volunteer. You're in charge of almost everything here, from what I can tell. I know you have a board working with you, maybe.
Yeah. We have a really good group of people that are very dedicated, and I have my fingers on quite a few things. But yeah, it's a really good group of people that just show up every year, and we just grind through the things that need to get done and make it happen again. And yeah,
it's good. Let's hear from Tom, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm Tom Galzeski. I spent about 42 years as a consulting engineer doing a lot of water and wastewater supply, treatment, collection projects for municipalities, primarily in Arizona, but all through the Southwest. I retired about 6 years ago, which has allowed me to do more on the professional society volunteer side, which was something I really enjoyed when I was working, but it's a lot nicer doing it when I don't have to go back and get something done at the office. It's
100%. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and it's a nice way to give back to the engineering or the water professional community, and it's been good for me. I'm a past president of AZ Water. I was also a WEF delegate, and I've been on the board now for Tri-State for about 11, 12 years now.
Oh, wow, that's good. Yeah.
And I was one of the ones that helped with the transition. We used to work under, it was called a mutual participation agreement between the 3 associations. And then about 11 years ago, when that agreement was coming to an end, we made a decision to go to an LLC format. So
Okay.
we're now a little bit more independent than what we were when we were just an extension of the three member associations, but we're still integrated with them. And but I think Tri-State, the growth has just been phenomenal, and it was a big step to move to Las Vegas because prior to it started in Bullhead City, then it moved to Laughlin for a number of years, and then it went up to Prim, so it wasn't on the river anymore. And then they made the big step to come to Las Vegas, and there was a lot of concern that are people going to allow their employees to come to Vegas for the conference. But I think it's one of the best moves that they could have made, just because the space here is phenomenal, and costs, we can keep costs low. And one of the things that I've done over the last several years is, after the conference is over, I'll take a look at where the Arizona attendees come from. And a lot of it is from smaller communities and small private water companies, wastewater firms that, that our conference fits well. They can send a lot of people here for a good cost. And so if the agency can't afford to send people, can afford to pay for it out of their own pocket, because we try to keep costs very conservative, very low, and provide the most benefit that we can for the dollars that we spend.
Yeah. And cheap. I don't know about cheap, but efficient for flights. Usually you can get in and out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people drive. I
Yeah,
know.
people can drive, and it's just a good spot for it. And I think one of the things that I've noticed this year, which I think is encouraging, is it seems like there's more younger people here, which we really need to get younger people interested in the profession, because it's a great profession. It's, I think, well paying. It's rewarding. You're doing stuff for your community, and it's just, we need that next wave of people coming in. There's a lot of people that are going to be retiring in the years to come, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities. And again, it's a great career.
Oh, agreed. So one question for you before we go back to Lisa, but every conference, even though it might be a similar setup, there's probably always something different every year and some unique thing. What are your thoughts about this year's 2026 seminar that might stand out or just be a little bit unique from years past?
Kind of
Attendance is one thing. I know
yeah,
you're setting records.
Yeah, we've been setting records for the last several years. I think we've been trying to do more things to take a little bit of the stress off of the volunteers, because right now it's all volunteers. And so we're trying to do, either through automation of registration or things like that, or just we have hired a big bookkeeper to help our treasurer out. But I think in terms of the conference itself, just the topics. I think the topics that come in every year, yeah, there are certain things that are similar from year to year, but just all the different new technologies that are coming out. And this is the place where you not only hear about it in the class, but you can come walk the floor here and see it for yourself. And I think it's really huge benefit for people that come to this show.
Great. Thank you. I wanted to ask Lisa, and you can always fill in with any of this other content, Lisa, if you want to answer too. But I wanted to ask you about the meeples. If you're okay talking about the meeples. So I saw part of a great show last night, it must have been, and people were asking for encore performances while I was there. You want to explain how that kind of came to be? It looked like to me most of the people participating are from the industry.
Yeah.
Doing this. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we started an Arizona water industry band, basically. So everybody that's in the band is living and working in Arizona, and they're working in the business. So some of them are engineers, some of them are operators or in operations at a municipal organization. There's a contractor that is one of our musicians, and it has a little bit of a twofold sort of story. I'm guessing 20 or 25 years ago, the guitar player and I were at a AZ Water operator barbecue that we used to host in like a city park. way back in the day when we were able to do that. And we had conferences that were small enough. And I think we just happened into this conversation where we realized we were both, I was a singer and he was in a band. And we just thought, well, wouldn't it be so cool if we found other people, other players in the industry, and we started a band that would play at our conference parties and things like that. And we had the conversation. We'd see each other annually or every couple of years, and we'd like, oh my God, we still need to do that, but never took any action on it. And then Seuss, our keyboard player, was at WEF a couple years ago. He was playing with the Jammin' for Water band, which is, my understanding is it's like a 6-hour gig and it's just a jam session. So there's just random people getting up and singing, random musicians that get up and come in and out of the band and play. And he's playing with this bass player the entire time. They don't know each other. They're on the same flight back to Phoenix when they realize they both live in Phoenix and work in Phoenix. And then realize who they each work for and know they meet each other officially. And so Jesus comes back to me and knows that I'm a singer. He says, I just met How. He's a bass player. Did you know that? I said, no. And he said, we were both in the Jammin' for Water band. We need to start an Arizona band. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. I love this. So at the same time, he's like, we can get Andy Nally on drums from Black and Beach. And I was like, yes. And we can get Kurt King, who I was originally talking to all those years ago, on guitar. So it kind of just started there. We were preparing for a water reuse was in Arizona. The Arizona section was getting ready to celebrate a 20th anniversary for their section. And they were going to do this special party and special dinner. And so they loved the idea of us preparing some music for this celebration. So we just collectively putting everybody together and started rehearsing so that we would have an hour's worth of music for that party. We had maybe 5 rehearsals because it was really hard to get us all together at the same time with everybody's traveling schedules and everything. So we did that one. It was so much fun. We had such an incredible, it was just so fun to rehearse with these people that you've known for so many years, but you learn to know them on this totally different level musically and have this new level of respect and admiration for them.
Sure.
And so we did that symposium. The people responded pretty much the same way. It was like, these are people that I know, and this is so awesome to see them in this totally different space. They loved us, asked us to come back for this next year, which we just did that one a couple weeks ago. And of course, I was chair of Tri-State, and so I said, I can add another gig on here so we can get a little more mileage of this practice and these songs we're learning together. So why don't we do Tri-State's party this year? And they loved the idea. The band loved the idea. And then as it turns out, next year, AZ Water will be celebrating their 100th anniversary. And it kicks off with their conference, because they had a conference before they were an organization.
Okay.
So pulling out all the stops for this conference, they're going to have a street party on the first evening of the conference. So they're going to be closing down 3rd Street between Washington and Monroe. And Art Nunez from Epcor, he's the immediate past president of AZ Water, which makes him the current conference chair, saw the band at our first gig and said, I want the band at the street party. So this is all continuing to build and culminate. And our hope with that band is that it is a jam band. We want to see other musicians in the industry come join us, even if it's only for a song. So we know someone at the town of Gilbert who plays the flute. We're going to find a song for her to come play with us. We know we're collecting other people and saying, let's just turn this into a lot of fun for anybody that's got musical talent, whether they're playing an instrument or singing or whatever, to come and join us and just have fun and build this additional layer to this community that we already have within the water industry.
That's great. Makes it fun. You guys were really heavily supported. Everybody was cheering and excited.
And I really didn't answer the question about why we're calling ourselves the Maples and all of that, so I can go into that a little bit if you want. So last year, before we were having this 20th anniversary symposium and celebration, the person who is receiving an award called the Person of the Year for Water Reuse Arizona is John Kameek. He's the director of Tucson Water. And he's one of the founding members of Water Reuse Arizona. They get together every year at the Biosphere and have a board retreat and strategically talk about water reuse and advocating for those different initiatives within the state. And in the early days, they would do some really good strategic thinking on a Friday afternoon, and then it would end in like happy hour into dinner, and chaos would ensue a bit with the happy hour. And they would usually bring out some games and have fun together. And so he would bring this tower building game that was built or was designed by a friend of his that he like lives in the neighborhood with. And the meeple is the player that you use to build your tower. So as you're building your tower, your meeple goes on top of your tower as you're building it. And the object of the game is the other people are building towers next to yours, and you're trying to of course knock the other people's meeple off and their towers down so that you can be the winner of the tallest tower. And so the meeple is the player in it. And when you look up the definition of meeple, it means my people,
Okay.
which just seems very fitting. These are my people.
Yeah.
These are my people in the water industry that are also my people in music. He was getting this award. We didn't have a name for our band. We were just like, we don't know what to. ChatGPT was giving us all kinds of nice, interesting things, but we just really didn't want to be called Sludge Cake or Gray Water Revival.
Gray Water.
There was all kinds of,
Punch.
Foo Fighters instead of Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
It was just, but this friend of mine, she said, with John getting this award, and we're going to have some presentation about this game and the meeples, and he had this saying that was, a meeple played is a meeple laid. So there was always this funny saying that he would say. So she's like, I found these t-shirts on Amazon. So she sent me this t-shirt, and it's the Beatles t-shirt, like they're walking across the crosswalk, but it's the meeples instead. And so she sent it to me. I'm like, this is a great idea for this gig, because we didn't know where this was going after this symposium. And then even after that one, we were like, we still don't know what name we want to go by, and the meeples just sounds like it's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to stick. I don't know if we're like infringing on any kind of like
Well,
trademark or copyright. We got to go look that up.
Start selling merch. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Anyway.
that's really cool. I've enjoyed talking with you both. I know you're busy with all your responsibilities, but I think it was interesting. So for those of you considering Tri-State next year, probably another attendance record. You can maybe see the meeples if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You can see these.
They might have an accordion player.
Oh.
Okay. Jam band. That's the way it works, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I want to thank you both for being on.
Yes, absolutely.
Being here, and Tom, you too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing
Appreciate
for Tri-State Associations and AZ
It's a
Water.
pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. See you
All right.
next year.
Sounds good. That's
Okay.
right. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you very much.